When I was in the 8th grade, I went to take a scholarship exam for a convent school, and the essay question began with a quotation. "It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known." Over a stiff and awkward lunch, some of the girls at my table confessed that they were perplexed by the source and the meaning of the quotation. It was at that very moment, weeks before my parents even got the letter from the nuns, that I knew. The scholarship was mine. How many times had I been up the steps to the guillotine as Sidney Carton went to that far, far better rest at the end of A Tale of Two Cities? Like so many of the others, it never seemed to me like a book exactly, but like a place I had lived, had visited and would visit again, as though all of them, every blessed one, Anne of Green Gables, Heidi, Dill and Scout, Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot, as though they were real, more real than the real people I knew. My home was in that pleasant place just outside of Philadelphia, but I really lived, truly lived, within the covers of books, and that seemed realer to me than any other real thing in my life. In the years since these days, I have learned that I was not alone in this, although at the time I surely was. The only child I knew, or my parents knew, who preferred reading to playing kick the can, or even ice skating. While I certainly do love ice skating, reading has always been something that I return to regularly. From Harry Potter in the 1st grade to Orwell in the 8th, I have always enjoyed escapism. Last year, when certain pages of Project 2025 were exposed, and I found some of my all-time favorite books to be on the banned books list, I was outraged. With book bans becoming a popular political talking point, and more people turning to anti-intellectual hobbies, this speech from 1998 is now more relevant than ever. In her speech, Anna Quinlan discusses how reading and literacy have always been and will continue to be integral to society. This is How Reading Changed My Life by Anna Quinlan. "It is a beautiful day outside," my mother is saying. She said that always, often. "All of your friends are outside." It was true. They always were. Sometimes I went out with them, coaxed into the street, out into the fields, down by the creek, by the lure of what I knew intuitively was normal childhood, by the promise of being what I knew instinctively was a normal child who lived raucous in the world. I did do what she asked, but at base, it was never any good. There was always a part of me, the best part of me, back at home, within some book, laid flat on the table to mark my place, its imaginary people waiting for me to return and bring them back to life. That was where the real people were, the trees that moved in the breeze, the still, dark waters. Perhaps only a truly discontented child can become as seduced by books as I was. Perhaps restlessness is a necessary corollary of devoted literacy. By the time I became an adult, I realized that while my satisfaction in the sheer act of reading had not abated in the least, the world was often as hostile, or at least somehow as blind, to that joy as had been my girlfriend's, banging on my screen door, begging me to put down the book. That stupid book, they always called it, no matter what book it happened to be. That dumb book. While we pay lip service to the virtues of reading, the truth is that there remains something in our society that suspects those who read too much, whatever reading too much even means, to be lazy, aimless dreamers who need to grow up and come outside, where real life is, who believe themselves superior in their separateness. There is some truth in that notion of superiority. Reading has also always been a way to divide a country and a culture into literati and everyone else, the intellectually worthy and the hoi polloi. But in the 15th century, Gutenberg invented the printing press, and so began the process of turning the book from a work of art into a source of information. Reading became a democratic act, a way for the many to teach themselves what the few had once learned from tutors. The president could quote Mark Twain, for he had read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And the postman could understand the reference because he had read it too. The big lies of demagoguery required more stealth, cleverness, for careful reading of books and newspapers could reveal their flaws to society. Not for nothing did Nazis light up the night skies with the burning of books. Not for nothing were American slave owners prohibited from teaching their slaves how to read. And the slaves themselves threatened with cutting off the joint of their forefinger for even looking at a book. Books became the greatest purveyors of the truth, and the truth shall set you free. By the 50th anniversary of her death, the Diary of Anne Frank had sold 20 million copies in 55 languages. While its validity as a Holocaust document or work of art has been debated over and over again, there can be no doubt that for generations of children who have never heard of the death camps and perhaps never even met a Jew, the universality of Anne's adolescent experiences and the horrible specificity of her imprisonment began to open a window on prejudice that might have longer stayed shut. The Red Badge of Courage, The Naked and the Dead, all quiet on the Western Front. The great novels of war have made patriots and pacifists among those who have never, will never, see combat. How is it that, a full 200 years after Jane Austen finished the manuscript, we come to Pride and Prejudice as if to a new thing and transcend customs, strictures, and time to arrive at a place that educates, amuses, and enthralls us? It is a miracle. We read in bed because reading is halfway between living and dreaming, our own consciousness in someone else's mind. Many people believe that books are endangered by technology. I do not believe this is so. Those in the business of books and those in the business of technology realize that people are attached not only to what is inside of books, but to the thing itself, the old, familiar form that first took shape 4 centuries ago. A laptop computer is a wondrous thing. It is inconceivable to me now that I ever could have done without one, particularly in writing and revising. But no one wants to take a computer to bed at the end of a long day to read a chapter or two before dropping off to sleep. No one wants to take a computer out of their bag on the New York City subway to pass the time between 96th Street and the World Trade Center. No one wants to pass Heidi on disc down to their daughter on the occasion of her 8th birthday. Or at least, no one wants to do it yet, even those who are far further along the cyber curve than I am. No, the greatest threat to the essence of the book is not the computer. It is the censors. It is us. The American Library Association's Banned Book Resource Guide of 1997 documents efforts to ban Sinclair Lewis, Moby Dick, Of Mice and Men, and Chaucer, The Catcher in the Rye, and In the Night Kitchen. It is a sad document, and one of the saddest parts in it, for me personally, was seeing that not so very long ago, Robert Cormier's provocative and thoughtful The Chocolate War, which my 12-year-old son just finished reading, and which made for rich yet heated discussions between the two of us, was banned from the Stroudsburg High School library for it was adjudged pornographic. I believe in reading. I believe in pretty much untrammeled reading. I love this quote from Holbrook Jackson. The fear of corrupting the mind of the younger generation is the loftiest form of cowardice. Perhaps it is true that at base we readers are dissatisfied people, yearning to be elsewhere, to live vicariously through words in a way we cannot live directly through life. Perhaps we are the world's greatest nomads, if only in our minds. I travel today in the way I once dreamed of traveling as a child. The irony is, I don't like it very much. I much prefer to be at home, surrounded by family, friends, familiarity, and books. This is what I like about traveling, the time spent on airplanes, solitary, happy, and reading. Perhaps when I was younger and wanted to take wing, I wanted only to let my spirit soar. Books are the plane and the train and the road. They are the destination and the journey. Books are home.